We will call a meeting to order at 6:30. We will start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Steve Ruth.
Here.
Derek Burton.
Here.
Jennifer Ryan.
Here.
Karen Winchester here. George Cullis.
Yep, right here. Motion. Before I entertain a motion to approve the agenda, I would like to amend the agenda and add number 7 under new business, the Shiawassee River Gauge. And I will pass you that paperwork. This was a development that happened this afternoon, and it's not a big deal, so I thought we could add it to the agenda.
I would move to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Motion by Winchester, support by Burton. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial. They do not require discussion by the Township Board, and they will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion. If discussion is desired on an item, that item will be removed from consent agenda and will automatically be moved to the last item under new business. Chair would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Motion by Winchester, support by Burton. Roll call, please.
Steve Ruth.
Yes.
Derek Burton.
Yes.
Jen Ryan.
Yes.
Karen Winchester, yes. George Cullis.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now, we move on to public hearings. We have a public hearing for the 2023-2024 Holly Township budget and for the annual redetermination confirming the special assessment district for the purpose of the fire and emergency services and supporting millages.
Move to open the public hearing.
We have a motion by Clerk Winchester to open the public hearing. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Trustee Burton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Anybody interested in speaking in the public hearing? Are you interested?
Not for this part, I don't believe.
Oh, not for this part. Okay. Anyone else interested for the public hearing on the budget? Okay, none appearing. I would entertain a motion to close.
So moved.
Clerk Winchester, support
Support.
by Trustee Burton. They're going to think nobody was here but you two. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now we go on to presentations, of which we have none. We move on to reports. Mr. Burton?
Yeah, so the only thing I want to say, because we've been talking about a lot at work, is a House bill that's either been introduced or going to be introduced, where the government is going to come and inspect your septic tank, and if it fails, they expect you to pay it. And they will be doing this every 5 years. The group that my
They
work
expect you to pay what?
for a new septic tank.
Okay, you didn't finish your sentence.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're paying, which is thousands and thousands of dollars. So the group that I work with, is obviously opposing this, and I'm sure there will be many, many more, and there will probably be several revisions coming on that. But that is one thing I've been dealing with on the work side of things, and also the recycling deal that they're trying to come up with as well, making communities pay for the recycling to try to increase the amount of recycling that they're doing. So,
Yep.
Interesting stuff there going on, at least through the discussion I'm having there. So we'll see how it all unfolds.
Okay. Does that complete your report?
It does.
It does. Mr. Ruth?
None for me.
Nothing for Mr. Ruth. Clerk Winchester?
Nothing for me.
And Treasurer Ryan?
Yeah, just We just sent the taxes to the printer, so those should be coming out soon, July 1st.
Oh
summer
boy, we're all
taxes.
excited.
Our new deputy is starting on Monday, so that'll be awesome.
And her name is?
Nina.
Costello.
And then just in general, I know a lot of people got their delinquent tax statements from the county. I would just like to say, you know, we're working on doing some improvements about communicating with people before they get that delinquent notice. You know, if you pay your winter taxes, you have a summer balance, you should be notified, hey, maybe you missed this, things like that. You turn in a form, we check and see what your balance is, stuff like that, just so that you have more warning ahead of time so that it doesn't get to that stage, hopefully.
Can you, does Nina have a last name?
Yeah, Costello.
Costello?
Mhm.
I just, for those people that are either here at the meeting or those that are watching, our new deputy treasurer will be Nina Costello. She comes from the city of Linden,
Yes.
and she was the deputy treasurer there. And we went through the process. We had 21 applications and the interview, and she will be starting on Monday. Okay, so we go to the supervisor's report. You'll actually see opposition to House Bill number 5 under new business. The legislature has been working on a bill that would take local control away regarding gravel mines, gravel pits. And we've been fighting that. It was in committee. There were a ton of us in Lansing to protest on it, to testify, and they cut the time off. And there were so many people there that the committee started with 15, and the committee itself, the people got up and walked out. And it was down to 3 people left on the committee, and they just ended it. And I think at this time they've pushed it back because it's getting so much opposition. There is, the lobbyists are pushing for this. They have disguised it as property rights. And it all stems from a company that's trying to open a gravel pit in Metamora that's been denied. And as you know, we need gravel to repair the roads and to work on the roads, and they want to do this. The local control allows us to do things like you can't mine all night long because you're next to residential. You need to stay in Holly, you have to stay 25 feet away from the property owners that are next to you. These are homes. And we have, how many do we have in Holly?
4.
4. And Groveland has 2, 3?
I know of 2, I'm not
Just
really
2.
sure though.
Okay. So it affects us because we're allowed to do things like you can't be on the road past a certain time. We can talk about dust control and your added maintenance to the road where you're bringing all those big heavy trucks and stuff. They want to take local control away, and to make it worse, they want to give it to Eagle. And Eagle has told us, for those of you that have been following the water issues, Mary Blanchard's not here tonight, but she would tell you, Eagle has told us time and time again they're underfunded, they're understaffed, so we want to give them more to oversee. And we have really been fighting this one, and at this point it's at bay, but trust me, it will raise its head again. So if you can reach out, this resolution tonight will be going to Lansing. If you can reach out to our office, we can get you the numbers. I know our state rep, Mike Mueller, and our state senator, Alana Thies. I have talked to them. They are both hard-nosed on this, but there are other legislators out there that need to be reached in the letters, and they need to see the groundswell of support from this because you continue to take local control away. I know there's another House bill on the Airbnbs, and while that's not as big a deal in Holly, communities like Saugatuck and some of those cities along the beach over there, they're buying up the hoses on the beaches, and it's becoming Party City. And those people that are residents there would have no say over the hours or how long the terms are, and that's why local government's so important. It's the one government that it not only affects us the most, but that we have the most say in because it's right here. So we're fighting hard to not lose this local control. That's part of my report. I got a picture and a message from from Dean Sutton that is doing the barn, and they've got the big crane in operation. They're getting ready to take the roof off tomorrow. They should be lifting the first section of that roof off, and that project's underway. I don't know what else we had. We cut the ribbon and opened the kayak canoe launch over on Fish Lake Road. That was a big success. Had a chance to come down the river and ring the bell and come into that. And the addition on the agenda for tonight is regarding the Shiawassee River Gauge. We got some good news on some grant money, and so I went ahead and put it on the agenda tonight. We need to close that gap so we can get that done. You'll hear about that more later. But that pretty much wraps up. I'm trying to, sometimes I feel like I'm missing something, but I think that completes my report for now. I announced that the sewer project on Dixie Highway, the funding was put through. Didn't I announce that at the last meeting? I thought that came through there, so we're good. Okay. We will move on to public comment. On agenda items only. Members of the public can address the board on agenda items only, once recognized by the supervisor. Comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. The board may extend this time by a majority vote. Prior to addressing the board, members of the public shall state their name and address for the record. A second public comment is available after new business for all other comments. Thank you for your cooperation. Anyone wish to speak for public comment? None appearing? Okay. We will move on to old business. Office cleaning proposals. Jen Ryan.
Yes, I see that the proposals are back in here without the one from the internal staff. I mean, I can do a rebid. I would guess there wouldn't be much changes. So I'm okay with just picking the lowest bid now with that one removed from the group, if that's okay with everyone else. I mean, just so that we don't have to go through the whole process. And I don't, if there is a change, it would probably be based on what happened here, and that's not as good, right?
Which was the lowest bid?
I think it's the 250.
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, you know, I had a
Sarah
question
Hart.
in
Yes,
regards
yeah.
to this. I don't know what the RFP said, but how do we get bids that go from $250 to $1,500?
Well, that looks like that's the deep cleaning. The
It's
regular
$750.
cleaning is a 750.
Or, yeah.
What the heck could you deep
Or-
clean for that? I
I
mean,
know,
does that
I
include
No, I don't get it.
shampoo
And that doesn't even
carpets
include
and
the
stuff?
first. That doesn't even include the second floor. That's just the first floor.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. I just, when I looked at these, I thought, what the heck were they?
Maybe it's one of those things like with construction bids where they don't really need any more work. They have enough customers, but if you're gonna have them do it, they're gonna charge you, you know,
At that
bid
point, it's
really
like, why
high.
bother submitting? Holy man. So we're looking at the Good Morning, my bid is $250.
And all cleaning supplies are included.
I think that's already the case, right? We
Yeah.
already buy the cleaning supplies
Yeah.
ourselves.
And that's,
That's for the current town hall, not the new one.
is there a
Right.
name for
Correct.
this company, or is it just
No,
this
it's
lady's name?
Person, Sarah Hart.
Sarah Hart? Okay.
I would move
And that, hang on, that cleaning's gonna happen how often?
every 2 weeks.
Okay, I don't see that on the bid.
Well, we'll tell her.
Okay, but I'm just asking,
Mhm.
just want clarification.
I'd like to do it once a month and see how it works, since most of the reason we had it twice a month was because of the bathroom, the men's bathroom, so maybe we won't have an issue and we can save money, see how once a month works.
Yeah.
Well, in the summer, that's probably easier to do once a month. The
Yes.
winter time sometimes creates more problem.
Mhm.
I mean, we run the vacuum ourselves quite a lot.
Mhm.
Okay, somebody was making a motion, Jen?
Sure. I make a motion to award the office cleaning bid to Sarah Harp at $250 per cleaning for once a month.
I support.
Motion by Jen Ryan, support by Clerk Winchester. Any further discussion?
What was that $100 per event meeting? What does that mean?
I'm assuming that's like if we had extra cleaning, we're like, oh, we're having a thing, we need you to clean another time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've
I
had
don't
a
see
couple of
us
large
using-
meetings upstairs, that
Yes,
kind of a
where we-
thing.
Yeah.
We've never required cleaning, but that would be the type of thing I would
Gotcha.
imagine. Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Jen Ryan,
Yes.
Derek Burton,
No.
Karen Winchester, yes, Steve Ruth,
Yes.
George Cullis.
Yes, motion carries 4-1. We will move on to new business. The 2023-2024 Park Commission Budget Proposed Resolution 2023-10.
I would move to approve the 2023-2024 Park Commission budget, proposed resolution 2023-10.
Motion by Clerk Winchester, support.
Support.
Support by Trustee Burton. Is there any further discussion?
Was this one, there was a slight change in the revenue and expenses matching, but was that based on just adding these up or something?
Yeah,
Well, it was more than that, but it was,
but it was fixed in the end, and I think I put the wrong paper.
I was gonna say, this is the old
I think
one.
this was yeah, I realized that this afternoon. It's
You've
all
got
right.
the correct one?
Well, but we do it by,
The
the
resolution.
cost center anyway.
Oh, by the resolution,
Mhm.
okay. Because I went to look at it and I went, that's the same one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
April 19th, yeah.
So I think, yeah, the
just for
209,
that, just for the
264.
record, that revenue, this budget's based on $209,264. Thank you, Don. Any further discussion? None appearing, roll call?
Karen Winchester, yes. Derek Burton?
Yes.
Jen Ryan?
Yes.
Steve Ruth?
Yes.
George Cullis?
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next is the Holly Township Budget and Appropriations Proposed Resolution 2311.
I would move to approve the 2023-2024 LA Township Budget and Appropriations, proposed budget 2023-11.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Winchester, support by Trustee Burton. Any further discussion? I will say this, there's only really one thing different from this year's budget to last. I mean, some of the numbers are a little different, but I'm talking as far as where money is appointed. And that would be, we have added a road fund to this budget, which will
Start saving.
start saving money for work on the road, and we
Like
already
chloride?
appropriate money.
Mhm.
Pardon?
No, like,
Like when we do the road graveling,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we would take that match, we've been taking out of the general fund, now it'll actually be in the road fund, so we can kind of monitor and see where we're at.
Okay.
Okay? Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Karen Winchester, yes. Derek Burton?
Yes.
Jen Ryan?
Yes.
Steve Ruth?
Yes.
George Cullis?
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now, we go confirm special assessment role for fire emergency services, proposed resolution 2312. Whoop. Hang on. There it is.
Go again. I move to approve.
Well, before you make the motion,
Mhm.
I suppose, it's just important to note that we're not changing that millage,
No,
correct?
we are not.
We're not raising it.
No,
That's important for the public to know. Yay, we're not raising a millage,
right.
Mm-hmm.
okay? Go ahead. I just wonder, I need one of those party favors.
I move to approve confirm special assessment role for fire and emergency services, proposed resolution 2023-12.
Support.
Okay, so motion by Clerk Winchester, support by Trustee Burton. Any additional discussion? I'll just clarify by saying, yes, the budget at the fire department has gone up because costs are going up, but we've enjoyed an increase in taxable values, and that's helped to offset the difference, so we were able to not raise rates. And I think that's important to make note. Anytime you can have a government, local government say, we're not raising rates, we don't need to. Yay us. Okay, anything else? Roll call, please.
Steve Ruth,
Yes.
Derek Burton,
Yes.
Jen Ryan,
Yes.
Karen Winchester, yes, George Cullis.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Now we go down to budget amendments. Resolution 2023-13. Who wants that one, Jen or Karen? Well, I think we should discuss a little bit, just so the public understands what we're doing, because that's kind of a big move.
With a lot of, well, yeah, a lot of these are like year-end stuff, in our spending, but most of it is for the, money to move the money where it needs to go to the capital project fund for the new township hall,
And that closing is coming up in
next Wednesday.
next Wednesday. Okay. Do you want to add anything?
No, that's what I would have said.
Okay. Then Chair would entertain a motion? Come on, Steve.
Okay, I make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-13, Holly Township budget amendments.
Support.
Whoa, there we go.
Wow, look at
Motion
there.
by Ryan,
Look at
support.
there.
We're on a
Throwing it
roll.
all off.
Hey, it's an R&R. Ruth and Ryan. Okay, any further discussion? At least this way the minutes will show you guys were really here. Okay, no discussion appearing? Roll call, please.
Karen Winchester, yes, Jen Ryan,
Yes.
Derek Burton.
Yes.
Steve Ruth,
Yes.
George Cullis.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now, opposition to House Bill 45, 26, 27, and 28, proposed resolution 2023, 14, well,
Dash one, yeah.
14, if I can get the page to move. There we go. Whoop, no. Oh, that's because you had that correction page. There we go. Okay, 2024. This is in reference to the gravel mining. And this resolution basically says we're against it. Strongly urges the State House of Representatives to oppose House Bills 45, 26, 27, and 28, which would silence local voices on aggregate operations in our community. The Holly Township Board supports the Michigan Township Association and the Michigan Municipal League and the Michigan Association of Counties in their joint statement in this preemption of local control. So there's quite a groundswell of support out there fighting this thing. It is further resolved that copies of this resolution will be provided to Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Senator Joseph Bellino, 16th District Representative Dale Zorn, 34th District Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes Energy, and the Michigan Township Association, the Michigan Municipal League, and the Michigan Association of Counties. These are the senators that are on that committee that are pushing that through. So that's what the resolution is. Why we pass it allows me to sign it, and we send it on. I will go ahead and make the motion to approve. Is there support by Clerk Winchester? Any further discussion?
You had mentioned in your comments that the gravel mining people keep their mining from 25 feet from the boundary. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah,
I thought it was 150 or 160 feet.
These are, ours are by consent judgment, so they were done in the 80s. So it's bigger if there was a new pit.
Okay.
It would be different based on our ordinance.
25 feet's pretty close. Now,
Yeah.
have we approved the current ones?
No, you probably have those next month.
Okay. I mean, there were some people here that had, some residents that had issues with gravel and
and
dust.
they've been working with the engineer.
Yeah.
That has been addressed.
Mhm.
off Laring Road, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken.
Yeah,
Right.
it was definitely more than 25 feet from the side,
Yes.
or closer.
Mhm.
It was right to the property line.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, and that's been addressed. I don't know what the resolution.
Yeah,
Has been.
we spoke about it extensively, and we're not really quite sure how we're gonna manage that. We have to ask legal if we
Okay.
can force them to do a survey of their property. It might,
So we're working on that.
yeah,
Is the answer to it. All right. Are we all set on discussion?
Yes.
It's a resolution, so I'll get a roll call.
Steve Ruth,
Yes.
Jen Ryan,
Yes.
Derek Burton,
Yes.
Karen Winchester, yes, George Cullis.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Now, number 6 is an interesting one. Karen said to me, Steve Ruth called and wanted to put
Yeah.
township flag on the agenda. I did this when I first came into office, and everybody went, no. But I'm
Well,
glad
I
to see
didn't.
somebody. Well,
I'm actually just bringing it up because of what was in the Township Focus
yes.
in July or June. They had an article on it. And it would be, so this is just to see if there's any interest of the board to do that, to have a township flag. It would cost quite a bit of money by the time you're done. I think 8 to 10 grand probably.
Yikes.
I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say,
I was
where'd you
gonna
come up with
say,
that?
No, I just guessing.
Yeah.
By the time you get 4 or 5 flags done. It would have to include the village because they would have part ownership and then part, it starts off with a design contest, I guess. Design what should be on the
Yeah.
flag. And
There-
just wanted, it was
There
just
is quite an interesting, at the opening of the Michigan Township Association Conference, which is held around the
Yep.
state every year, they have what they call the Parade of Flags, and they bring them in, all the townships. And the whole time during that conference, the flags are on display in the convention center. And
Yep.
many of the townships have flags, and they're all around the room. And I had brought it up when I first came in, and there wasn't interest, but I think, especially now that we're looking at a new building, we're gonna be out where it's much more visible. I think a township flag helps to promote the community.
Well, it's
And
already done.
I think it's certainly worth looking
I just
into.
put
I
it
don't
on here
know that I'm
'cause it's to see if
anxious
the
to
board-
spend 8 or 9
Right.
grand,
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
but
Oh,
I think
yeah,
I think we can do it for less than that. So, I think what this would do is, just give permission for us to work on it going forward, and then it
Bring
would
it
come
back,
back to the
yeah.
board. So, if somebody would like to make a motion to do that,
Or just consensus that we can move forward and bring costs back to the board.
Yeah.
I don't think we need a formal motion, do we?
Okay.
I just brought it down to see if there's interest, like it was.
Well, I was gonna say,
before. I don't remember.
my only desire for the motion was it would tell me, yeses and nos would tell me if we have interest.
So I'll make a motion that we move forward in researching a township flag.
Motion by trustee Burton, is there support?
Support.
Sport?
Support by R&R. Ryan and Ruth. So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we have 5-0. Okay. Now, number 7, I passed that paper out for you. This is the Shiawassee River. So they've been in front of us before, and we've talked about, Dave Losing came and talked about it. This is a gauge that was created by a student at University of Michigan. It will be mounted on the west side of the bridge at Fish Lake Road, and it gauges the depth and speed of the river. So that if somebody wanted to come, you'll see on Facebook, people say, how shallow is the Shiawassee? Can we go, is it okay? Or then you'll see somebody else say, well, we hit bottom a couple places, but you're pretty much okay, or don't go. Well, in the springtime, it can be very dangerous because it can be moving pretty fast when the river's high. This gauge would allow them with a phone app to plug into the gauge, and it would say the depth of the river is so deep, the water's moving at this speed, it's done by laser. It's a little black tube about this long and about this big around, mounts on the side of the river, or side of the bridge, and focuses on the river. They're putting 4 of them in through Fenton, Argentine, It's mentioned here.
Lyndon, I believe, was the other
I think Linden, and it's at a cost of $1,500 a year. They have gotten support in the northern or northwestern areas by the different communities, have split it up 3 ways. In our area, the village of Holly wasn't interested, Holly Parks wasn't interested, but they managed to get a grant from the Community Foundation in Flint for $1,000. They need $500 to complete that.
Then what's gonna happen next year? Then are
Well, that's gonna be the question of whether it stays up or comes down. Can they get the grant again? But this at least allows them to put it on at the first year. And I think at the same time, that'll allow them to collect data of how many people are using it and so forth. So we've just put in that new launch and that attention down there. It's just become a national paddle trail. I think it's worth at least the first year,
Yeah.
and then, you revisit it next year and say, okay, how many people are using this? What are your stats on it? And go from there. But at least they've got 2/3 of it funded already.
Yeah.
So it would require us to jump in for $500.
So how does it change the liability, though? If it says, you said, somebody still grounds out, they say, well, but your gauge said it was okay. I don't know, I'm just asking.
I don't know if the gauge will say it's okay. It'll just say with grounding out depends on,
Yeah.
how do I say this politely? Depends on, pardon?
Drafting the weight of the boat.
Oh,
Right.
that's the polite way. I was thinking more about how big you are and how small the boat is and how much it sinks. But anyway, we'll go with the draft for Mr. Murphy over there. This isn't going to tell you won't bottom out or you won't. It'll just tell you what the
What
depth
it
is.
is.
Right.
It's your choice whether you jump in, and it'll tell you how fast it's moving. You don't remember the presentation when he was here?
I do, but I'm just trying to think now, is it
Oh.
really wise to have this thing in the big scope of things? My vote won't matter much anyway, but it seems to me that people have been using the river for many years without this.
Yeah. Well,
But it's $500.
it's a new invention.
Right.
Just like, people were listening to records for years before they come out with cassettes.
Yep.
And then they moved to 8-tracks and said, no, we don't like those. They keep breaking. So, it's new technology. And if we put it on there for a year, next year we look at it and say, what kind of user have you had? What's been the take on it? And in another year, if it turns out it's a cassette, we keep going. If it turns out it's an 8-track, we get rid of it. I use those analogies because people can relate to those.
Yeah.
At least those of us old enough to remember those. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just gonna say I'm curious. So the $1,500 per year, I'm just trying to understand. Is that for like the actual app and everything, or is that for the gauge itself? You'd think the first year would be more expensive, and then subsequent
It's the
years would
whole
be
problem.
less.
It's the whole problem. It's the whole process, which includes the gauge.
Okay, are they replacing the gauge every year?
No, but I'm sure they have to monitor it and keep it running and whatever they have to do.
It just seems strange. I feel like most projects, it's expensive.
These are all the
first year.
questions you should ask when he was here and
Right,
made the
because you're buying
presentation.
The apparatus.
The
or whatever.
apparatus.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a new invention that was developed by U of M students and put out there. That's where it came from. I remember that. I met the young man that was on the team that created it, and there was quite a lot of enthusiasm from him as to what it can do and what it changes. And
But, well, I've got all these questions. So is it every time you log on the lap, that's what they record is the person going down? Or is it
it
just?
would record that you were on the app.
You're right,
Checking the water.
because you
You're-
could be checking it all the time.
Right. Well, that's why I said, I'm sure next year they're going to come back and say, we've been averaging 12 hits a month, not worth it. We've been averaging 4,000 hits a month.
Mhm.
I don't know what we're going to expect.
Okay.
Are they going to use this for anything else? Like, can they use this for, I don't know, studies of the river?
All day long. You can tell when the river's flooding.
Yeah.
I mean, if it gets that high, you'll know in town anyway, but
Yeah.
at least you'll have it on your app.
It just seems like it'd
I
be
mean,
a useful
if
tool
I,
for
let me
other
read a
kinds of
couple
studies.
paragraphs of what we're looking at. It says, The coalition submitted and received a grant from Fenton Community Fund, one of the geographic affiliates of the Community Foundation of Greater Flint, to pay for a share of 4 gauges in the following communities: Holly, Fenton City, Linden City, and Argentine Township. The cities of Fenton and Linden are contributing towards the cost of their respective gauge. We expect the same from Argentine Township. The cost of the gauge is $1,500 per year, while the gauges in the other 3 communities are being split 3 ways, $500 per organization. There is a Holly fund that is willing to pay $1,000 towards the Holly gauge. That would leave a balance of $500 for Holly Township to cover. We would like to locate this gauge on Fish Lake Road Bridge Deck, and will need your support in the Oakland County Road Commission. Need your support with the Oakland County Road Commission to install it. As soon as your board approves the request, we will place an order with the Hi-Fi for installation and invoice the township for $500 sponsorship. We will also highlight the township's support by using your logo on our website and Hi-Fi so that residents and paddlers know the township supports. So that's what they're looking at. And their overall goal is to install 7 water gauges over the Shiawassee River this year, which would include, because it goes all the way up to Saginaw.
Yeah, a lot of effort's been put into.
Yep.
Well, they've been working on this for years,
Yeah, it's been, yeah.
and we just put $180,000 into that boat launch. I say we, that was grant money, private donations. They had a couple of private individuals donate $10,000 apiece
Yeah.
to get that project over the finish line. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the $500 for the Shiawassee River Gauge.
Support.
motion by trustee, well, I'm so used to it being Winchester Burton. I actually wrote the dang on thing backwards. So it's motion by Burton, support by Winchester. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve Bruce,
Yes.
Derek Burton,
Yes.
Jen Ryan,
Yes.
Karen Winchester, yes, and George Cullis.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Yeah, you guys messed me up. You flipped it on me after 6 or 7 Winchester Burtons. Anyway, all right, we get to the last public comment. This meeting went a whole lot easier than we had anticipated. We must be doing something right. Okay, we are at our last public comment. Just like the first one, there is 3 minutes. We need your name and address when you come to the podium. The only difference is this time you can talk about anything you damn well please. Yep, yes, sir, Mr. Johnson. We'll start with you.
Can I ask a question before I start?
You just did.
If I want this on camera,
Yep.
can they see it?
Yes,
Where's the camera at?
it's back there, but yes, you have the microphone.
I gotta stand like this?
You got to talk into the microphone.
Oh. All right, when's my 3 minutes start? Already?
Yeah, right now. Just go ahead. I really don't time it. We're pretty lax. If somebody gets long, I'll say, hey, we got to wrap it up.
Anyways, I'd like to, if they can't see this email, I can say it. Can I?
Just start with your name and address.
Oh, name and address?
Name and address.
Douglas Johnson,
Douglas Johnson,
332 Grange Hall Road.
332 Grange Hall Road. Okay.
Okay.
Now go ahead. You can read whatever you have.
Well, I want them to see my email so they can email me. Okay, I don't care if 10,000 people or whatever, but if they can't, the camera's over there. I guess I can just say it.
Okay.
It's D, like dog, Johnson, 27772 @gmail.com. I have a case, American Disability Act. I lost the first case, and then I put in a motion for default judgment. I win that, and then the judge will not recuse himself. So that's where I'm at, and they hack my phone and my computer. I can't do nothing. So I need any kind of help I can get for transparency from the public or whoever. One of the main clerks, I can't say her name, it's Kinika. Her last name is Essix. She has the power to stop the judge's check and to take him off the case. And I've tried 4 times getting in contact with her. They blocked my electronic mails going to the court, which I'm pretty sure is illegal. And then I sent a letter, and they sent it back after they filed it. This is very corrupt. And I really don't know too much to do. So anyways, if somebody wants to help, they can email me, and I'll be glad to answer back. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Would I get 2 minutes and 59 seconds?
You're still on.
You only used about a minute and a half. You're doing
I did better than I thought.
Okay, anyone else for public comment? Mr. Smith?
Remember me.
Actually, before you start, come on up, introduce yourself and your address.
Tim Smith, 1031 South Holly Road.
Okay, before you go on, I have tried multiple times to find the location of where you see that steel was dumped from the tracks.
Right.
I had them reach out to me. If you can help me find where it is and pinpoint it.
Right where the bridge crosses the river. There used to be a trash
What
dump.
bridge?
The railroad bridge.
Was
Right
it-
where it crosses the river. There's only one spot.
Okay,
And we had a trash can down there and a private road
that would
went
be,
down to.
that would be west of Fish Lake Road.
I would, yes. It's west of Fish Lake
Okay.
Road.
Because,
From what because I haven't been down the river in years, but my friends who go down there still, every time they go down there, the steel's still in the river. They just peeled it off the bridge, threw it in the river, and continued on with the new construction and left the steel there. And if you care about the community, you don't like seeing stuff like that in the river.
no, my problem is I just have not been able to pinpoint it. So
Well,
anytime I talk to them, they can't find it, they tell me.
yeah,
So,
well,
I
that
would love to
that's not
have, I
surprising.
would love for somebody that goes through that area to give me a picture of it. That would really,
I'll
make a
talk to some of the
difference.
people that I know go down the river regularly and have them get
All
a
right.
picture of it.
so I interrupted your public comment, so you go ahead and start now.
Okay, well, first I'd like to start off by thanking you for spending the 2 years it took to get my property unlandlocked after being landlocked since its inception. Thank God. I'm just wondering how I ever got a building permit, how I ever got a mortgage for an illegal piece of property to begin with. And then when I fight the government, I fight the bankers on it because I know I got them by the gonads, the local government takes the case. So then there are no more laws, is what I found. But I did appreciate getting unlandlocked. I could finally get a mortgage after I spent 2 months trying to get everything straightened around at Oakland County, which, when you fight the county, believe me, they screw up all your paperwork through the whole thing. It's cost me another $9,000 to get that taken care of this last year. So basically, since I've been taught a good lesson that laws don't really matter in this country anymore, I've decided that I can sit down and not have to worry about this community. And then somebody lets my neighbor build an industrial building on 5-acre lots where it's all $1 million houses. And I'm not talking just a little industrial building, I'm talking 60, 70 feet wide, 100 feet long, 2 stories high, I-beams coming in and out for months. And this was a private drive that leads to this property. You endangered the road, and I've been having to fix it for the residents there. So when you tell me you're worried about a gravel pit coming in here, you certainly don't care about your residents when they build an industrial building. And then when the neighbors tell me that, oh, the township said it was okay as long as he only had 1 employee, which means it's a manufacturing facility in a residential area. And I did ask you to look into that, George, a month ago. Never heard back from you. Do you remember?
I do not.
1089, you were on the road at the time. And I called you about this building because
Wait, what's 1089?
1089 is the address.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking a date or something.
No, 1089 South Holly Road. Which is interesting because South Holly Road is actually a person's driveway. Which you changed the name of the road to beat me in the lawsuit by saying I wasn't landlocked because all of a sudden South Holly Road appears as my neighbor's driveway. please change it back on the maps. I can't tell you how many ambulances I've seen go to the wrong address because of what you guys did. I think, well, not you guys, it was the county
I was gonna
in
say,
conjunction, it was
we don't-
equalization. And I pointed it out to you several times. It says South Holly Road and it's a personal driveway. So I guess we can change anything we want anymore just to make things go smooth when you get caught. But anyway, I don't know what you're gonna do about it. I don't really care what you do about it. It's the residents over there that have to deal with this guy who has a deck railing business and who was turned down the same building in Rose Township because it was a manufacturing facility. But apparently it just got approved here. And this all goes back to when the building department and the people within the community got cut out of having any part as the township, zoning commission, appeals. Once that all went away 10 years ago, you guys can do whatever the hell you want. And I found plenty of stuff. Actually, because my case got so much popularity, I am still getting calls from attorneys on the stuff you guys are doing. And I can't tell you how many boxes and cases I've got of everything you've done since Mr. Ruth was in on the no wake thing back 30 years ago. So literally everybody's been going, here's where they're all corrupt, and they expect me to do something about it. Well, I know there's no laws, and I know if you go to the county, there certainly isn't a judge there that playing on a level playing field. It's a vertical playing field. You will not get treated fairly by any court in this state, in this country.
Right.
It's all corruption, all the way across.
Mr. Smith?
Forget it. Quit paying taxes. That's why I keep telling you, quit paying taxes to these people.
Mr.
It's
Smith?
ridiculous.
All right.
My tag's up?
Well, it was up a few, you heard the alarm go off. All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Anyone else for public comment? None appearing? I think that leaves us at the end of our meeting. It does. I will adjourn the meeting at 7:17.